I cut you off. You were about to say something. You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome everybody. We're glad the word got out and you're able to join us virtually today. Ben and I talked yesterday and realized this was not going to be a good day for everybody to gather together in person. So we're glad that we have the Zoom capability to hold our meeting today. And we hope that everybody's safe in wherever they need to travel today. So we'll go ahead and begin our meeting. The first item on the agenda today is an action item to approve the minutes from the January 18th meeting. Is there anybody out there that would like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion. This is Jacob with Centerville.
Thank you, Jacob. And do we have a second? Mayor Tran?
Yes, I'll make us, oh, yes, second.
Perfect, thank you. Motion and a second, and I think while we're on Zoom, I think we just ask, is anyone not in favor of that motion? Okay, I think that is considered approved. Thank you, everybody. So we'll move on to the next item, the most important item today. Ben Wuthrich will go over the tip items and present the project concept reports that have been submitted. Ben, we'll turn the time to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Am I still coming in all right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So appreciate the opportunity. As all you know, this is a pretty busy time for us, busy time for you, and we appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to begin to share my screen here. And what you should see, because my screen just changed, but hopefully you see the table. And this is, I believe Rosie will make that available in the chat. So this table is a list of all the projects in the Ogden-Layton urban area. This particular list, it's sorted first by funding type. And so you'll see that there's 7 CMAQ projects, and then there's, following the CMAQ projects, you've got the CRP projects or the carbon reduction program. And then following the carbon reduction program, we get the STP program. And then the last projects on the table there are the TAC programs. Now, there's a project ID. We sorted them by county, but they're sorted by the funding type and then the city. So you may have city or you may have projects in multiple locations on the table. The important thing is to go through. Now, you also might see your project in more than one funding source. And that was either from your request or as staff has begun their evaluation process, we may have, if we had all the materials, we may have put that project in another funding type just to help it in a competitive opportunity there to give it the best chance to move forward. So as you go across the table, after the funding type, you have the agency, the name of the project, the from and the to, and then you have the length of the project, the estimated project cost, the federal funds being requested, and then the local match. Now, the description and all of those others we left off so that we could keep this table a little more readable. But after the slides will be made available, so you'll be able to click on the PowerPoint slide. We'll probably save them as a PDF so we can have the notes under there, because what we do when we develop the slides is we'll take the material from the concept report, and there's also always a larger paragraph at the end of the concept report that goes into a little more detail on what the city's trying to accomplish or what the project will benefit. And so we want that information available to you so that you have the opportunity to understand the projects. This is what we refer to as our road show, where we will go through all of the projects one slide at a time. We'll move very quickly. There's really no discussion unless I'm totally off base, then correct me. But we want to be able to move through. We've got, well, you'll see how many projects we got, but we got quite a few that we need to go through. And we do have that additional funding resource now. So that enables us to have just a few more projects to look at. So the other thing I want you to be aware of is the Davis or the Ogden-Layton urban area, which essentially goes from North Salt Lake all the way up to Brigham City. Those field reviews are being scheduled here for next week, March 1st and March 2nd. On March 1st, we plan to do, we've broken it up essentially by southern and northern. So we'll do Davis County projects on March 1st. And then we'll do the Weber Box Elder County projects on March 2nd. Rosie's in the process of coordinating with you, and we've already kind of scheduled out so that we can move fairly quickly. She'll contact you, make you aware of the time that we want to meet someone on site. And then she'll request of you perhaps maybe the safest or the best location to meet on site where we can talk. And then we have a ballpark that will have about 5 to 10 minutes to talk about the project. Then we got to move on to the next one. We'll also have the Zoom link available. So anyone on the TAC committee who wants to will be able to zoom into that link. We'll have the schedule at that time put up on our website, so that, or accessible, so that you can access and pull up the agenda for the day. And if there's opportunities throughout the day that you want to join or look at different projects as we approach them, we welcome you and encourage you to participate.
And
So, Rosie, any corrections or anything you'd add?
no, everything you said was perfect. Paul does have a question. He's asking if these are in person or virtual.
Thank you. Good, good. The on-site visit is in person. And that brings up another one. What we would do with the benefits now that we've had, having a couple of years now under our belt with on-site and virtual, is it's been proven that it's been very effective. If you have someone in your office that can be zoomed in, so that when we're out on site, sometimes if the wind's blowing or the snow's falling or raining or whatever, it's real hard to look at a map and gather around. But if someone can, in the office, can zoom that, those online can see it and can understand what we're looking at. And then we've got a tablet that we can show those that are on site. And as we talk the project, we do ask that if there's any questions from the TAC committees, that maybe we go through the chat. We'll have someone monitoring the chat so that the review team can move fairly quick. Sometimes we get bogged down on a question that throws off the schedule and makes it kind of rough for the rest of the day till we can get caught back up. That answer, Paul, was that good? All right, so here we go then. So as you're familiar with the process for new projects on the draft tip, we're right here now in January, February, March, where we do the project reviews and the evaluations. Our next meeting in March is a critical meeting. That is when we now join together in March and staff brings those initial recommendations for the TAC to review. And then as you see appropriate, make the recommendations for the projects to move forward in the program. So we really need your participation there at our March meeting and encourage that March meeting to be an in-person meeting. It just makes it a lot easier to open discussions, express concerns, or whatever else is necessary. But as we move forward now, here's kind of a rough draft. Of course, north is to the left. These are all the projects here in the Ogden-Layton area. There's actually 50 total projects. Those projects estimated total cost is more than $366 million. You can see under the STP projects that there's a request for $82.7 million. We have about $1 million available to program in the CMAQ. There's about $11+ million of it are being requested at an available amount of $6.4 million. The TAP funds, there's $7.1+ million being requested. We have about $2.8 million available to program. And in the carbon reduction program, there's $14.8 million being requested. We have about $2 million available to program. So a lot of needs, a lot of requests, a lot of great projects. So as we move forward here, we'll look at them quick. We're going to talk about first the STP program right here. I apologize, it didn't click until the meeting was about to start. I thought I was going to be in order of the table, but I realized I sorted the table by funding source rather than by program. And so if you'll scroll to the, I believe the third page or middle of the second page, you have the STP program starting. So there's 25 projects. Total ask is more than 82 million. We have about 11 million available. So here we go. First project request here is in Brigham City. This is on 12th West. This project runs between 600 North to Industrial Way. This will reconstruct this facility and widen it from a 2-lane facility to a 5-lane facility. Project estimated cost is 8.8+ million. The funds being requested is 6.5+ million. The next project is also in Brigham City. This is on the section of 12th West, just south from Forest Street to Industrial Way, just about 1/3 of a mile in length. To widen from a 2-lane to a 5-lane facility. Estimated project cost is 2.4+ million. Funds being requested is 579,000. The next project in Brigham City, this is also on 12th West. This is crossing Forest Street and heading south to 4th South, 3/4 of a mile in length. Project estimated cost is 6.9+ million. Funds being requested is 5.1+ million. I might point out that last project, there may have been a decimal or a number missing. We've got to confirm that still back with the project sponsor. The next project is a project in Perry City. This is also on 12th West. This is on the south of 1100 South or Highway 91. This is phase 1, which will dovetail off the project that was approved by this body last year to take the road up to and the intersection there on 1100 South. A little more than a 1/2 mile in length. Estimated project cost is 5.5+ million. The funds being requested are 3.4+ million. Next project is in Centerville City. This is on 1250 West. This will reconstruct this facility between Parish Lane to 200 North. Little less than 2/10 of a mile in length. The estimated project cost is 752,000 plus. Funds being requested is 503,000 plus. Next project is in Clinton. This is an intersection project on 1300 North and 1500 West. This is for a roundabout project from a regular intersection. This is estimated to cost 2.7+ million. Funds being requested is 1.8 million. The next project is in Farmington City. This is on 200 East or SR 106. This is a reconstruct with minor widening between Glover's Lane and Lund Lane, mainly to put shoulders, curb and gutter and bike lanes on the east side of 200 East. Project estimated cost is 3.9+ million. The funds being requested is 3.6+ million. Next project is in Layton. It's the Layton Parkway Signal Project. This is for traffic signals along Layton Parkway. Estimated project cost is 825,000. The funds being requested is 725,000. The next project is in North Salt Lake. This is on Center Street. This is widening and adding active transportation components between Foxborough Drive and the Jordan River Trail. This project estimated cost is $593,000 plus. Funds being requested are $504,000 plus. Next project is a request from the UDOT TOC Traffic Operations Center. This is on I-84. This is for freeway variable message signs. This will install a variable message sign west of US 89 to direct traffic on I-84 if 89 is congested or there are issues. Project estimated cost is $800,000. Funds being requested is $745,000 plus. Next project is also a request from the UDOT Traffic Operations Center. This is for surface street variable message signs, a little smaller sign than what goes over the freeway, but this is to go on SR 193 east of I-15 and on 193 west of I-15 to allow the traveling public to know and understand what's happening on I-15 if they should go another route. Project estimated cost is $650,000 for both the signs. Funds being requested is $605,000 plus. The next project is the UTA. This is the Davis County, Salt Lake County Connector Construction Project. This project will run from the Salt Lake City to the Davis County Intermodal Centers. Project estimated cost is $75 plus million. Funds being requested is $5 million. Next project is a project in South Weber. This is on the Cottonwood Roadway project. This is for reconstruction with minor widening between between I-84 to the Weber River Bridge crossing, about a half a mile in length. This will also add active transportation or one of the phases to the South Weber Trail there. Estimated project cost is 2.5 plus million. Funds being requested is 2.2 plus million. The next project is in West Bountiful. This is on 1100 West, roadway improvements with some minor widening and striping between 200 North to 400 North. This project is estimated to cost 1.2 plus million, and the funds being requested is $753,000. The next project is in West Point. This is on 700 South. This is to reconstruct with some minor widening between 3500 West and 4000 West, about a half a mile in length. This project is estimated to cost 4.1 plus million, and the estimated or the request is 2.9 plus million. The next project is in Far West. This project's on 3300 North. This is to construct a roundabout and widen the road facility between 3300 North, between 2nd West or SR 126 and 2700 West. Just under a mile in total improvements. Project estimated cost is 10.2 plus million. The funds being requested is 4.3 plus million. Next project in Harrisville City. This is on 750 West. This is phase 1, reconstruction with minor widening between West Harrisville Road and US 89, just under a mile in length. Project estimated cost is 6.7 plus million. Funds being requested is 6.2 plus million. The next project is also in Harrisville. This is on the same facility, 750 West. This is a widening of this particular section between West Harrisville Road and US 89, just under a half mile in length. Estimated project cost is 2.4 plus million. Funds being requested are 2.2 plus million. The next project's in Ogden City. This is on 2nd Street. This is to reconstruct with some minor widening between Washington Boulevard and Monroe Boulevard, about 3/4 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 7.5 plus million. Funds being requested is a little more than $7 million. Next project is phase 2 on 2nd Street, requested from Ogden City with minor widening between Wall Avenue and Washington Boulevard, just under a half mile in length. Project estimated cost is 5.1 plus million, and the funds being requested are 4.7 plus million. The next project is a UTA request. This is the Mount Ogden facility in Ogden, located at 135 West and 17th Street. This is to reconstruct this building, their administration building and service center. It is wearing out. Estimated project cost is $15 million, and the funds being requested are $5 million. The next project is also a request from UTA. This is an Ogden on-route electric bus charging infrastructure. This to enable chargers to be at strategic locations for the electric buses to recharge. Project estimated cost is $1.5 million, and the funds being requested is 1.3 plus million. The next project is also a request from the UDOT Traffic Operations Center. This is for surface street variable message signs, the smaller signs, and this is up on SR 39 west of I-15 and SR 39 east of I-15 to advise the motoring traffic of what the conditions are on I-15. Project estimated cost for both signs is $650,000. Funds being requested is a little more than $600,000. Next project is in Roy. This particular project is an intersection project, is to construct a roundabout on 4300 West and 6000 South. This project is estimated to cost 1.3 plus million, and the funds being requested is 1.2 plus million. The next project is in Weber County. This is a project on 12th Street. This is to reconstruct and widen 12th Street from 10,000 West to 7,100 West. It's 2 miles in length. Project estimated cost is 10.3 plus million. The funds being requested is 9.6 plus million. That's all of the STP projects. Any questions? Did we move too fast, too slow, or are you all right? Great. I'm gonna, let me load up the next slides here. We'll do the CMAQ. So we'll go to the front of the program. Pretty quiet out there, Boyd. Are you and me the only two left?
I know, I think it is. Everybody's just so happy with what you've presented.
Oh, good.
Doing great, Ben. I'm surprised you still have your voice.
Just wait till we get to the yodeling section. No, I'm kidding. That's so
Doing great, doing great.
Yeah.
Ben, are you gonna show that slide with the shows the requested amounts and the available amounts again?
I am right here. Actually, are you not seeing it?
Oh, I saw, no, we're not seeing anything right now.
Let's see here. Oh, I clicked off my screen sharing. So this slide. Perfect. Well, and that's where we're going to talk on the CMAQ program right here. So there are 7 projects requested in the CMAQ, totaling a little more than 11 million in the ask. And we have this year, we have 6.4 million available. Now, the reason we have so much more CMAQ available is you'll recall when we brought before the committee that the early years of the CRP program, we were worried that we were going to lose those funds because they were available in 2002 or 2022, but we didn't get notice that we could start programming those projects. The guidelines didn't come out until we were well into the TIP process last year. So we couldn't even start programming till this year. You know, the federal projects take at least 2 to 3 years to move through the process. And so we were fearful that we would have issues with the front years. So we found eligible CMAQ projects, moved them into the front years of the CRP, that gives us more CMAQ money to program this year. And the front 2 years of the CRP program are with projects that you recommended in past years. So we have 6.4 million to program this year. The first project is a request from Clinton. Now, some of these you're going to see in multiple funding programs, which is great and appropriate. We want you to focus on the project for the program. And so that's why we didn't put any indicators of what programs they're enlisted in. We just want you to identify and relate with the best projects. So this particular project in Clinton City is the construct a roundabout at 1300 North and 1500 West. The estimated project cost on this project is 2.7+ million. Funds being requested is $1.8 million. The next project is the UTA request for the Davis Salt Lake Connector construction. This is the transit facility between Davis and Salt Lake counties. The estimated project cost on this is 75+ million. The funds being requested are $5 million. The next project is a project in West Point. This is to construct a roundabout intersection on 1800 North and 4500 West on this offset intersection. Project estimated cost is a little more than $2 million, and the funds being requested is a little more than $1 million. Next project is in Ogden City. This is to expand the bike share program at various locations throughout the central business district. The project estimated cost is $678,000 plus, and the funds being requested is $632,000 The next project is the UTA request for the Ogden on-route electric bus charging infrastructure for the electric buses through across the network. There in the Ogden-Layton urban area, the project estimated cost is $1.5 million. And the funds being requested is $1.3 million. The next project is the Roy request at the roundabout or the intersection improvements to construct a roundabout on 4300 West and 6000 South. This project is estimated to cost 1.3+ million, and the funds being requested are 1.2+ million. The next project is a request from Roy City. This is for the municipal building electric vehicle charging stations to construct 4 electric vehicle charging stations there in the city parking lot at 5051 South, 1900 West. The estimated project cost is a little more than 100,000, and the funds being requested is a little less than 100,000. And that's all of the projects in the CMAQ program. Any questions on that? Let's see here. We will go into the CRP program then, or the carbon reduction program.
While you're pulling that up, Ben, I do have a question. In the funds requested per program compared to the funds available, do you include the multiple requests across programs? You know, for example, we requested funds in SDP and CMAQ and CRP for a few. Does that show up in all 3 of the requested funds?
Yes,
Totals.
it
Okay.
does, Alma. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, is that showing there again? The funds that are being requested and the funds available, and we're going to focus here on the CRP program, or the carbon reduction program. There are 10 projects totaling more than $14.8 million in request, and we have a little more than $2 million available to program. So the first project on that, in that request, is a request from Clinton City on 1300 North and 1500 West to construct a roundabout. This particular project estimated cost is 2.7+ million. The funds being requested is 1.8 million. The next project is a project in Clinton City. This is for a pedestrian underpass on 2050 North, 2000 West. This project estimated cost is $5.5 million, and the funds being requested is 2.7+ million. The next project is a project in North Salt Lake. This is on the Center Street widening with active transportation improvements between Foxborough Drive and the Jordan River Trail. Estimated project cost is $593,000. Funds being requested is $504,000. The next project is the UTA request for the Davis Salt Lake Connector. This is for construction on this project. Estimated cost is 75+ million. Funds being requested is 5 million. The next project is a request from Syracuse City. This is the Antelope Trail Phase 1. This will construct an active transportation facility on the north and the south side of this facility between the Gosway Gatehouse to Doral Drive. The southern part is on the north side, and the northern or the eastern part is on the south side of this facility. Project estimated cost is 2.2+ million. Funds being requested is 350,000. The next project is a request from West Point. This is to construct a roundabout on this offset intersection at 1800 North and 4500 West. Project estimated cost is a little more than $2 million. Funds being requested is just over $1 million. The next project is a request from Ogden City to expand their bike share program in the Central Business District. Estimated project cost for the expansion is $678,000 plus. Funds being requested is $632,000 plus. The next project is the UTA request for the in-route or on-route electric bus charging infrastructure for their electric bus network. This project is estimated to cost 1.5+ million. Or 1.5 million. The funds being requested is 1.3+ million. The next project is a project in Roy. This is to construct or make improvements to the intersection of 4300 West and 6000 South by constructing a roundabout. This project is estimated to cost 1.3+ million, and the funds being requested is 1.2+ million. The next project is a request from Roy City. This is to construct electric vehicle charging stations at their municipal building at 5051 South, 1900 West. Estimated project cost is 100,000 plus, and the funds being requested is just under 100,000. And that is all the projects in the carbon reduction program request. We have just one more program to go through. And that is our TAC program, or Transportation Alternative Program. All right, there we go. Okay, hopefully you see the TAP program there. There are 8 projects requesting funding.
We actually see
The
the notes, the other screen.
Thanks, Rosie.
Mhm. There you go.
Well, you would have been real surprised that there's no talent on this end. So anyway, there are 8 projects in the TAP program to be evaluated and considered. totaling more than $7 million. And we have about 2.8 million requests, which is the most TAP funds we've had available in the Ogden-Layton area. So pretty exciting for this program. The first project that we have is a project in Centerville. This is on Porter Lane or 400 South. This is for a multi-use trail. This is phase 1 between 4000 West to the South Frontage Road, a little more than a quarter mile in length. Project estimated cost is $302,000, and the funds being requested are $151,000 plus. The next project is a project in Clinton City. This is a pedestrian underpass at 2050 North and 2000 West. This project's estimated cost of $5.5 million, and the funds being requested is $2.7 million plus. The next project is in Layton City. This is the Davis-Weber Canal Trail. This is phase 1 for a bike ped facility between University Park Boulevard and 1300 South and 2225 North and 525 West. It's a little more than a half mile in length. The project estimated cost is $654,000 plus. The funds being requested is $327,000 plus. The next project is segment 5. This is the last phase of the Weber River Trail. This will piece in between phase 3 and phase 4. It's a little more than a mile in length. The estimated total cost is $732,000 plus. The funds being requested is $682,000 plus. Next project is a project in Syracuse. This is the Antelope Trail phase 1 trail facility between the Causeway Gatehouse to Doral Drive. Estimated project cost is 2.2 plus million, and the funds being requested is $350,000. The next project is a project in Far West. This is a Safe Routes to School project, a ped bike on 2575 West. It's to construct sidewalk and bike lane between 3300 North and 2975 North, a little more than a half mile in length. Project estimated cost is a little more than $1 million, and the funds being requested is $893,000 plus. The next project is in South Ogden. This is also Safe Routes to School project on Adams Avenue. This is to construct sidewalk on Adams Avenue between 40th Street and 42nd Street, about a third of a mile in length. Project estimated cost is a little more than $2 million, and the funds being requested is $1.8 plus million. The next project is also in South Ogden. This is also a sidewalk project on 850 East, sidewalk connection between US 89 and Chambers Street. Less than a tenth of a mile in length, but the project estimated cost is $143,000 plus. Funds being requested is $115,000 plus. And that's the last project in the TAP program. So we went through a boatload of projects, about 50 projects there. Were there any questions, or where do we go from here?
I think you did a very good job, Ben.
Thank you, Boyd. Kip or Hugh, anything you'd add that I'd miss? Okay, turn it back to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate all that information. That is a long list of projects to go through. I appreciate it and look forward to the on-site visits, and then our next meeting where the next meeting is where we'll be able to vote, correct, Ben?
Yes.
And make a recommendation. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a project report by Syracuse City. Is there Oh, there's Brian.
Yeah,
Brian,
can you hear me okay?
welcome. Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
All
Go
right,
ahead. The time's yours.
Okay, the internet at the shop's down, so I'm on my hotspot on my phone, so hopefully this will work.
We can hear you so far.
Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna turn my video off because it's being slow. So the project we wanted to highlight was a new culinary water tank that we completed about a year and a half ago. It's the first of its kind in the state. It's a composite elevated tank. And it's, from what we could find, it's the second largest in the country. So the need for this was driven mostly by growth. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about why we chose this option versus a traditional tank. So we had discussions with council about how we wanted to proceed with adding additional storage. Right now we have about 6.5 million gallons up on Hill Air Force Base. That water is delivered through Weber Basin and through Clearfield City to us. So it's not directly connected to our system. In addition to that 6.5 million, we had this 1 million gallon tank that is directly connected to our system. But the issue we were having with this tank is that in order to meet the Division of Drinking Water minimum peak day pressures, basically only the top 18 feet of this tank was actual usable storage to meet those minimum pressures. So this 1 million gallon tank was really acting as a 175,000 gallon tank, just because we could really only utilize the top portion of that tank. So we didn't want to go down the path of installing a 3 million gallon standpipe tank and still only being able to utilize that top 18 feet of it. So we kind of approached council and asked how they would like to proceed, and their interest was they wanted the most reliable water storage that we could provide. So we were rather looking at building another tank up on Hillfield and running a transmission line to the city. This council also wanted storage that was actually attached to our system in the event that we lost our feeds from outside sources. We would actually have some water connected to our actual system that we could pull from. So we're pretty flat. So really our options were we could build another tank up on Hillfield and run a transmission line. It would require miles of pipe and it just wasn't feasible cost-wise. So the other option was to build a tank on this site and pump it into our system. That way we could utilize the full 3 million gallons. And then the other option we kind of looked at was this composite elevated tank. And in discussions with council, the fact that they wanted the most reliable water source that we could provide, we kind of went towards the direction of the composite elevated tank. So everything could be gravity. We're not relying on pumps. We're not relying on power and backup generators to be able to provide water to our citizens. Kind of the other issues we were fighting too was low chlorine residuals in the area. And I think it was really just a matter of not turning over that tank. We were really relying on our PRVs to peak during those peak times. And we weren't really turning water through our tank at the time. And then one of our other goals with the project was just to secure enough land for build out so that we could have the land in hand and for building our future tanks as well. And then kind of some other ancillary things with this too was we own and operate a secondary system, and our secondary water tank was only 100,000 gallons. And that's this one on the right-hand side of the screen. And we were having the same issues with just how small it was. And our pumps were set to turn on based off the elevation of the water in the tank. And you can see how small the volume is. Our pumps are turning on and off constantly, just because the volume of that tank was so small. Let's see. And then I think that was more or less the reason we decided to go towards the composite elevated tank, just for the reliability, and then everything was gravity without any pumping. So we have the school district next to us. This is their, to the east is their cafeteria, and then to the south is their school bus depot. And so we approached them about purchasing this property in blue, and we were able to make that happen. And so this is basically our master plan for the site. We've got the 3 million gallon tank that we built, and we have plans for another future 3 million gallon tank next to it. So that's a drawing of it. So this whole bottom piece is all just basically storage. A lot of the ones they build back east, they actually put like fire stations and office buildings and stuff in it. But we didn't really have a need for that. So so we started with the foundation. I've got a couple of pictures of that. So this is all the rebar that they installed. This centerpiece is actually a foundation for a crane. They actually brought a crane on site and erected it, and that's kind of how they built up this. And you can see it right here on the left-hand side. That's how they moved all this rebar and built the whole structure. So this is the foundation after it's poured. This was Geneva's entire concrete production for one day in this foundation right here. And then they backfilled around it, and then they just formed this up around here and basically poured it in sections like this all the way up. And then once they had the pedestal complete, they started hanging the actual steel and anchored it to the concrete pedestal. And then they came back once all this was set and welded all these joints. And so that's after it's been welded. So they actually built the whole thing on the ground and painted the outside. And then they used jacks to jack the whole thing up into the air. So this was the first time it actually overflowed. You know, you run all the calculations and you think that it's going to fill up with water, and you hope it's going to fill up with water, but you stand there and look up at this thing with your neck cranked and you're like, how is this possibly going to work? But it did. And then in addition, we built a building to house the chlorine for the inlet pipe. And then we've got a PRV, and then we also upgraded all of our electrical for our secondary system and kind of cleaned all that up. Pre-project, we were peaking through our PRVs at about 15 to 1700 gallons per minute. And those were really just following the demand of the users. And post-project, we're only pulling about 500 GPM through our 2 PRVs at a pretty constant rate. So getting all that storage up in the air where we could actually utilize it has made a huge difference on our system. the fire department has been complaining because all their painted caps that they use for their pressures on their fire hydrants are all wrong now. They're about 10 PSI difference with the construction of this new tank. So they've had to go through and actually repaint all their fire hydrants. So that's all I had. Any questions?
Brian, what kind of precautions there? It seems a lot of weight in the air if there was an earthquake. So that foundation, what did you do to accommodate future land movements?
Yeah, so it's on geopiers. I can't remember how deep those, I want to say those went 100 feet or so in the ground, and then the foundation, the concrete foundation itself here. You go back. So each one of these flags is an actual geopier. I think they were like 2 feet on center, so there's a lot of foundation under it.
That's pretty cool. Very
Hey.
fancy.
Hey, Brian, I didn't understand. Are you using that same tank for secondary water and culinary water?
So I guess I did fail to mention that. So after the fact, we converted our old 1,000,000-gallon culinary tank to a secondary tank.
Okay,
And then we tore down this old 100,000-gallon tank.
thank you.
Brian, very neat project. Thank you for, thanks for sharing that with us.
Yep, not a problem.
Does anybody else have any questions for Brian? Okay, Brian, we really appreciate it, and hope Syracuse City enjoyed the refreshments today for us.
Hey, Brian, can I ask you a quick question? This is Hugh with WFRC. Are you gonna sell the naming rights to that tank so you can like paint something big on it and get a big sponsor to help pay for it? Thing's massive. Looks like he froze.
We must have lost him.
Yeah, all right.
Hugh, I really liked your question, though. It was a good one.
Thanks, boy.
Good spot for advertising. Okay. Well, if nothing else, we're at item 4. Any other business items that need to come forward from anybody? All right. Well, our next meeting will be March 29th. That'll be an important meeting, as you know, where we will make a recommendation as a group on the projects. So please plan to be there. That one will be held in person at West Point City Hall. And Ben, we're still going to do a hybrid meeting, correct? But
Yeah, that option will still be there.
okay, we'll still have the virtual option, but we are really encouraging everybody to be in person if possible. I think it'll make that meeting, and especially the voting process, a lot better if we can be in person. Then just a reminder, West Bountiful City will be doing a project or city presentation next meeting and providing the refreshments. I think, is that Chris Nilsson? Chris, are you West Bountiful?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, what do you got?
So for the next meeting on March 29th, this is a surprise. West Bountiful gets, so you get to do a presentation on a project or on general presentation on your city and provide some refreshments for us.
Whoa.
Lucky you. You must not have been there when we made those assignments.
No, I wasn't there.
Is that okay, Chris? Or you?
I think so. I guess I got to do it, right?
Yeah. This means you get a project approved, right, Ben?
Sure.
Okay, who do I contact on these details since I just heard about it?
Ben Wuthridge.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Thanks for taking that assignment.
Yeah. Yep.
Aren't you glad you showed up today?
Yes, I am. Awesome.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll end our meeting and we'll see everybody on March 29th.
Thanks,
Thank
Boyd.
you,
Thanks,
everybody.
Ben.
Have a great day.